And we are following breaking traffic news here as you join us at 6 o'clock on this Tuesday. Seems there's an accident out there involving a police cruiser. Alicia, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, we did confirm from Eagan Police that it is an Eagan Police squad car you see here in the center median at 35E northbound Yankee Doodle Road. It's involving two other vehicles, a semi-truck and this vehicle here, and it is causing quite the backup. We actually have video from the crash as it happened at about 5 o'clock this morning. You can see it right here, and it glitches right when the crash happened. So you can see the squad car, the semi-truck kind of smoking, and then another police officer shows up and runs to the scene, checking on his fellow officer. Again, Eagan PD. MnDOT did confirm there are injuries with this crash. The road is still open though, so let's take you back live here to the Metro map and the crash video here. So let's zoom in closer to 35E. Just the northbound lanes are seeing the significant backup. So heads up, southbound still open, northbound is still open as well, but they're just down to one lane of traffic. If you want to avoid sitting in traffic this morning, 77 northbound to 13 northbound will be your fastest option. Again, we have CC Gaines headed to the scene, working to get some more information. We'll hopefully get an update here in a little bit. Meantime, let's get out to Guy for a check of that Tuesday weather. Hey, Guy.
Hey, thanks, Alicia. You know, sunshine in the forecast today and temperatures will rebound. So off to a cold start. We have single digit and sub-zero temperatures right now, and we'll be right back in the 30s by afternoon. 12 forecast lows will drop to the single digits this morning. So yes, right now temperatures are at 12 degrees and they'll continue to fall throughout the morning hours. Sunny and breezy today, forecast high around 34 after a cold start, rebounding nicely. Winds turn gusty tonight, not as cold tonight, keeping mostly clear skies in the forecast tonight, and gusty winds will continue into the day tomorrow. 42 for your afternoon high, increasing clouds. This ahead of our next weather maker that will arrive Thursday, bringing rain, snow into Friday. More on that coming up, guys.
Guy, thank you. Well, in just hours, Minnesota nurses will bring their fight for better staffing to the state capitol.
They hope that the Keeping Nurses at the Bedside Act that's being proposed will get more nurses into hospitals and actually keep them there. Now, this bill passed a second Senate committee last night, and in just a few hours, it'll have its first hearing in the House.
And Minnesota Nurses Association says this bill is designed to help with patient care, short staffing, and keeping nurses who say they're simply burnt out. A new report finds that 2,400 Minnesota nurses already left bedside jobs just last year. This bill would create committees of nurses and hospital managers that work together to create staffing plans on a hospital-by-hospital, unit-by-unit basis. The staffing plan also includes a maximum limit on the number of patients that one nurse should safely care for.
If the nurses can participate in addressing in their local community, on their local unit, what that number is, that will speak volumes. Because right now, it's just whatever we have, that's what you're stuck with.
Now, the only thing the Minnesota Hospital Association says, in order to comply with the bill, hospital units might actually have to close.
Especially because right now there are more than 5,000 open RN positions.
Hey, good morning, Cece here. So we've been live in St. Paul for about an hour now, but now we're going to switch gears, drive down to Eagan, where there's a serious crash on Yankee Doodle Road. It sounds like it's between a squad car and a semi. Eagan police did confirm to us that it is one of their squad cars. So right now, a lot of people are responding to this. Traffic is down to one lane. So we're gonna go down there, try to talk to some people on the scene, figure out what's going on, and get you guys the latest update. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
All right, Cece, we'll check in with you soon. Thank you. Right now, 10 new suspects are facing charges in the largest pandemic fraud in the country. You hear the details of those new allegations.
I'm Lou Raguse. 10 more defendants are now charged in the Feeding Our Future fraud case, bringing the total to 60 people now accused of scamming the federal meal program to the tune of $250 million. U.S. Attorney Andy Luger highlighted some of the most absurd ways the new defendants allegedly carried out their scheme and spent the stolen money. That includes one suspect who claimed to be serving more children in Pelican Rapids, Minnesota than the population of that entire city. Another defendant is accused of buying a plane to be delivered to Kenya, and another is accused of buying a laundromat in order to launder money. All these new suspects will be appearing in court this week and later this month. Luger says the investigation isn't complete and they will charge more people.
A new alleged scam targeting members of a Wisconsin food stamp program called Food Share is prompting a Department of Health Services investigation. Officials say scammers are texting members, telling them to verify their account, and then they use that information to steal money from their accounts. The Wisconsin DHS is reminding users to keep their login info private and block any out-of-state or online purchases.
The FAA is releasing its initial report on last weekend's plane crash out of Eden Prairie. The agency says the plane crashed and caught fire while trying to land. 3 people were on board that single-engine aircraft. Only one of them, the pilot, was hurt. He is expected to be okay.
Over at the state capitol, lawmakers are getting a raise. The council that decides how much our lawmakers are paid just approved a 7.25% raise, putting their salaries right under $52,000 a year. That's a $3,500 raise. The council says some of the lawmakers say they aren't making enough, especially those from greater Minnesota, and they've decided not to run again. The pay increase will cost taxpayers an additional $800,000 a year. Well, we are just a few hours away from the stock market opening. Stock futures are rising as we take a live look at the boards this morning. And investors are keeping a close eye on Wall Street after the weekend collapse of 2 banks. The federal government took extraordinary steps to close Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank and guarantee their deposits. And President Biden says customers of banks here in the U.S. should have confidence that their money will be there when they need it. And he's promised to hold leaders and investors of banks that fail accountable for their actions.
I don't think anyone should have concern about the safety of their money in a federally assured institution.
The U.S. government has now effectively guaranteed all deposits and said, keep your money where it is. No matter what happens to these banks, we are ensuring the money.
So this morning, the Consumer Price Index report comes out, and depending on that report, the Fed could boost the size of its next interest rate hike. This spring, don't be surprised if you see lawns a little bit longer. More cities are adopting the No Mow May movement.
Now I have an excuse. No, I'm just kidding. No Mow May is meant to create habitat and forage for early season pollinators, especially in urban areas like bees and butterflies. But a lot of communities have mowing ordinances. So Edina is offering an online registration where people can skip fines in May and get a yard sign to explain while their yard is not mowed. Enforcement of Edina's turf and weed laws will return in mid-June.
As you mentioned, built-in excuse right there. If you walk into the lobby of the RBC Gateway building in downtown Minneapolis today, you may notice a very familiar business. Royal Zeno Shoe Shine was a family business that spent 6 decades shining shoes for travelers over at MSP Airport. They had to close down, though, when the airport cut down on those stands and decided to give the Shoe Shine contract to another business. The family still carried on the business over in St. Paul, but today they'll shine up your shoes on the other side of the river. It's the first day of business for their new stand in Minneapolis.
Well, turning to weather here at 6:09, we're getting a break from snow. A little more sunshine expected today, but don't get used to it, folks. Guy is here now to tell us when it's going to return.
Yeah, later this week, forecasts already showing some rain, snow into St. Patrick's Day, so that not ideal, but at least by the weekend, sunshine in the forecast and temperatures warm up. So maybe, some of those plans could carry on over into the weekend. So that is a plus. But yes, this all ahead of our next weather maker Thursday and Friday. But for now, it's quiet, cold. Temperatures well below average this morning. Right now, sitting at 12 degrees under clear skies. Wind speeds right around 3 miles per hour. Wind direction east-southeast this morning, up to 34 this afternoon. Most of our sunshine arriving again shortly afternoon. This morning, finding a couple clouds just passing by. Tonight, quiet conditions. Clear to mostly clear skies on the way tonight, with temperatures milder, not as cold come tomorrow morning. So forecast lows completely different. We're talking about night and day temperatures come tomorrow morning. So again, from single digits this morning to the upper 20s tomorrow morning, and then temperatures, of course, are going to be warmer for the afternoon after that nice warm start to the day tomorrow, milder start, 42 for the afternoon, and rain and snow in the forecast as soon as Thursday. So coming up here in about 10 minutes, After a cold morning, we warm up through Wednesday. Our next weather system arrives Thursday. Rain and snow. Still some uncertainties with, of course, how much and where, but we already have in northern Minnesota winter storm warnings or watches, rather, and winter weather advisories kind of issued for some portions of the state. More on that coming up.